OTG as they are cleaning up around P1. Now the angles throw from.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. Hope you're all doing well. Looking forward to getting into this one as we are getting into the games now. Apologies, we are a little late in getting going, but we are getting going as quickly as we can here as the losers finals and grand finals of Division 1 of the COD Ireland League is about to get underway here tonight, folks. Hope you're as excited as I am. Should be an absolutely fantastic game. Fantastic evening that we have ahead. Belfast Storm coming on in. Big night ahead. Indeed it is for you lot. Potentially going to be able to go through and win the whole thing from the loser side. And Delta Daily coming back in with the resub from the Prime. You love to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the clock here. We are running late. These teams are ready to get going. So we are going to get going as quickly as we can. I will let the guys know that I am ready on my end. On my end here. So whenever they get joined in, we can get ready to get straight into these games. And ladies and gentlemen, because of the potential time constraints that we have here to get this one underway quickly, we're not going to spend too much time faffing about with the maps. So we'll just get you straight into the map mode screen so you can see the maps that these two teams have elected to play here in the losers final of Division 1 of the COD Ireland League. And here you have it, folks. Those are the maps. Those are the modes. Will be a massive game between these two sides, beginning off with a protocol hardpoint. Again, not one that you often see come through. A rewind search and destroy coming in, I believe one of the first ones that we'll be seeing in the COD Ireland broadcast. Finally seeing that one in a grand, or in a losers final, potentially a grand final if we get that afterwards. Vault Control, pretty common pick for a lot of teams in the Irish League, so makes a lot of sense. But Skyline hardpoint, protocol search and destroy, on the whole means that we actually aren't seeing a vault hardpoint come in, which is a rarity in the Irish side of things. Usually we see that come in one way or another, albeit a map 1 or a map 4, but Belfast Storm electing to get rid of it. Interesting choice to make there. How will that factor into things? We will soon find out. But ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is going to come away with the win of this one? Again, it's a massive moment for both of these teams. Faceless Fruits. We know what type of side they are. They are a top-tier team full of really, really strong, experienced players, but the same has to be said about the Belfast Storm roster. You know, they picked up a new roster going into Season 2. They hit the regain button and have made themselves sort of a real opposition to be feared, I think, in this league so far, and actually kind of was a sleeper team. You were never seeing them right on the top echelon, but they were always doing enough to get themselves over the line, to get through to the next moment. And now actually finding themselves in a losers final means that they're just one win away from being in the money. That's to some extent, right? Which I think is massive. We're seeing Flux Esports no longer in it. Massive that side is gone. Again, Season 1 champions out of it. So it's all poised for OTG. Only the greatest sitting in the winners final or the grand finals. It's poised for them to come away with it. But one of these teams could cause an upset, could throw the rulebook out in that regard. And, you know, a lot of people might look at the experience of a Faceless Fruits and think that they'd be the ones to face off against OTG in the final. But I tell you something, you cannot sleep on this Belfast Storm roster. I think they could potentially cause some surprises here this evening. Knowing what's on the line, COD Ireland glory, and of course these teams will be starting their preparations for the upcoming LAN that will actually be happening in Belfast should Belfast Storm elect to take part with their roster. It's on their home ground. So massive moment for them to sort of declare themselves as a top unit, a top tier team. And we will see how they can respond to that level of pressure. As I do believe game number 1 will be getting underway any moment now. All the players are in the lobby. They're just sorting out a couple of final bits before we get going here. So make sure to let us know in chat as well who you think is coming out on top of this one. Will we see a Faceless OTG final? Or will we see Belfast Storm reach their first grand final of the COD Ireland League and once again relegate Faceless to what I think would be, for the second season in a row, a third place position, if I am not mistaken. I could be very mistaken on that. Someone can feel free to correct me. But folks, looking forward to this. Hopefully it's a series worth remembering, as map number 1 is about to get underway. We load in to Protocol Hardpoint. The The series, intense enough as it is. The players, even intenser. Yes, that's a word. Well, actually, it's not, but we're making it a word here today. As we get ready to load in. Here we go. Gonna very quickly make sure that we get the sides actually changed. It didn't save. Oh no. There we go. That should be fixed. Is it fixed? It is fixed. Belfast Storm, Faceless Fruits, underway. We see early on the push come through. Cyndaquil picking up the first couple of kills. Quintorius gets one, but only one as Faceless Fruits get themselves locked in around the point. But Bez with a big kill. Going to get pushed in now with that AR going around the bend to pick up one. Help with the second. And Belfast Storm getting some time back themselves. This is poised to be a really, really close series. A neck and neck one. Cyndaquil picks up another. Cyndaquil with two, and he's a player that we spotted the last time out when we caught the Faceless Fruits. I mean, they are a top tier side. And you also need to forgive me, folks, for a slight graphical mistake in that they constantly called themselves Faceless Esports last season, and for some reason, every time I input anything with them, I put Faceless Esports and not Faceless Fruits. Slap on the wrist for Zep. As we'll get that changed here on the fly. Cyndaquil 5-2. Great start for him as a player. As a man, really. As a human being, this is a great start in life. To be good at Call of Duty, it's a skill that's very transferable to other sectors of existence. As Powerhouse. Rotating up top now, Faceless Fruits trying to hold the spawn area, but Belfast Storm have a lot of control of this point and dominating the midsection so far, but Jumpy picking up one alongside Rin. A Cyndaquil grabs one. Cyndaquil, Rin, Jumpy with two, and Faceless Fruits have broken through as they will start to rotate onto new. He's trying to hold on for the scrap. Melvin going around the wide angle, potentially trying to hit that spawn. Trying not to get dropped, but Rin with the angles. And is now going to get moved in towards the point, and that flank around the back didn't work, but Quintorius has now gotten round. How do the timings fare out? They fare out pretty well, but a 2 for 2. Make that 3 for 2. Big fight in the back, and Quinn wins it. Belfast Storm have the spawns. They have control of P3. But we all know it'll all come down to how these sides decide to rotate for that P4. A pivotal position. The reads on point. Quintorius with another. Holding it down, but Jumpy with another 2. Jumpy's been picking them up in batches of 2. 12 and 7 now. Cyndaquil slowing right down, but Jumpy springing into action. Nearly double positive here with an insane amount of engagements. But you look at the rotation, it is Faceless Fruits that have rotated first. Belfast Storm on the scrap, keeping themselves in it. This game is still hotly contested so far. As we'll see how the break will come through. Hawk Knock and Melvin waiting for their chance. Going to try and peek the head glitches, doing it at the same time together in unison. Great push. Making sure to be on time. But so far, the defense for Faceless Fruits is holding, but Quinn's through. It's Quinn versus Rin, and Quinn's the victor. Who's victor, you might ask? It's not Powerhouse, as he gets dropped. 11 and 9. Quinn doing the best he can for his side again. The KD's actually pretty even across the board. You have one with slightly more in Faceless Fruits, but then Powerhouse not having as many kills. You would say maybe slight. Actually, I don't even know if you'd say slightly in favor of Faceless. I would say across the board, these kills are as even as you could possibly want them to be. And now that's beginning to show on the scoreboard. 86 to 80, 10 seconds left. Virtually guaranteed the rest of this scrap time, meaning we go back to P1 with things looking completely even. As we'll see here, the pushes onto P1. Powerhouse picks up a big 2, Cyndaquil 1, and now they have to hold. That's the control of the point. The shots coming in from the backside, but the hold lasting. Belfast Storm now getting on the point. But there is a bit of mid presence that could cause some issues. The push around the back as well means Cyndaquil's going to be able to pick up another 2. The trade's coming in though from Melvin. And when you see this back and forth calamity just trying to capture mid, is you will actually have the Storm player up top from Zip to get that cover, to try and regain a bit of positional control. And now Melvin with 1. Gets dropped. Powerhouse picking up 1. Trying to hold down the lanes with the AR. Faceless Fruits, they're doing enough, but we're not seeing a vintage Faceless Fruits performance here by any means. Belfast Storm are doing a great job of stifling them wherever they can. It's just about whether it'll be enough to get over the line, because again, you look at individual moments and those kind of moments of brilliance that set yourself apart at this level, and Faceless Fruits are having more of them. Cyndaquil's gotten a couple of doubles. Rin's had some rescue gunfights. Jumpy, as I said, continuing to get the kills in batches of 2. Most kills on a 4 streak, and nearly with that Hellstorm in hand, has 1 minute 20 in Hill as well. Hellstorm now guaranteed, and this is the difference maker at this level, as that lead is going to extend to just over 50 points, and it's all come down to a wave of gunfights that Jumpy was a key part of. So you talk about having that player that is that difference maker, that sets you apart, that gets you over the line. So far in this map 1, it is Jumpy being that player, but we know Belfast Storm have players that can bring that to the table. Quintorius, Melvin, Hawknock, Bez, all these players have what it takes, but they just need the stars to align. But for this moment, Faceless Fruits have regained a bit more control of this map as they look to pull away with this lead now. What was once neck and neck is now on its way to a 100-point lead, as the Fruits just arguably took the first set of rotations just to figure out how they wanted to go about this. And once they had their opposition figured out, Belfast Storm have not been able to provide an answer. It's so back and forth in the way that Faceless are playing this. They bait each other out so much, never getting weak so that they're in a deep enough trouble, and just constantly baiting back and forth, taking pop shots, playing together terrifically as a team. Faceless Fruits in a little bit of trouble now towards the hill, but they've been able to deal with it well and push Belfast Storm off long enough. And now Jumpy has rotated down to new 23 and 12, a star player for sure. But Melvin trying to get rotated down now. Gonna be in a big gunfight here to try and break in low. Needs it to work out early. Here's the reload, but the shots are shaky, as it's now Rin and Cyndaquil doubling up on Hill, and Cyndaquil pulled the numbers right back as well. For as much as we were focusing on Jumpy, you now have 25 and 15 on a 6 streak. I mean, that is just an outrageous performance here, as the Faceless Fruits just get another player popping off. It just all begins to tally up as you have across the board a Belfast Storm playing now in the KDs pretty evenly, but nowhere near the high standard that the Faceless Fruits have set in this set of rotations on map number 1, as the end goal is in sight here. 15 points needed. They can get it on this hill, unless the challenge comes through. Bez gets in with 1, and that's going to stop Faceless from picking up the win there. But the result impending, perhaps. Only delaying the inevitable. Rin and Powerhouse with another couple. The nade flying out. Hawknock, the last left up from that wave of spawns. A Cyndaquil going to try and get this one done. Jumpy taking out his teammate in the process. Sure, why not? He's that kill hungry. He might as well. As they know they have this game in hand, they're just going to take their time. Powerhouse on the point. Challen left and right. Checkerboard a kill feed. It's all up to Melvin on the hill, who gets dropped. And just like that, it's done. Faceless Fruits taking your map number 1, 250 to 124. And 250 to 124 is a pretty good scoreline. I mean, especially when you consider the contrast of that first half compared to the second. It was night and day. It was Faceless versus Belfast, and it went the way of Faceless that time. You see the shots coming through from Cyndaquil for your best play, both Cyndaquil and Jumpy with phenomenal numbers, but Cyndaquil doing the damage, which really counts. But non-traded kills 20 and 23, definitely star players for that side. As ladies and gentlemen, we go back to the screen and you can see that Faceless Fruits so far in the lead in your losers final. A terrific win for them, but a long series potentially to go. And again, we talk about that contrast. I mean, Protocol Hardpoint, you had Faceless Fruits versus Belfast Storm here. Pretty neck and neck. You had about 20, 30 points in it. At a point, Belfast Storm looked like they could have pulled away with the lead, but then you have players that just finally switched on, stepped up to the plate for the Fruits. And I mean, what was the score after the first set of rotations? It was like 1-2 whatever, or maybe like 107 to 87 or 97. Belfast Storm did not accrue points pretty evenly throughout that. There was a lot of that was even play in the first set of rotations. And then when Faceless locked in, it was just P2, P3, P4, wham, bam, bam, straight after each other to rack up the points. Almost a clean 180. You would probably say they got, what, 140, 150 out of the 180 that they could have gotten in all three of those points. Just a complete calamity. I mean, if they were at 100 and something, they would have at least got 140 from those 3 points. 130 even. But very, very cleanly. As when they just stepped it up a gear, there was no answer. Absolutely no answer for the side of Belfast Storm. I don't know why it took me so long to get through that sentence. Maybe I just love building up a little bit of hype. We're moving on to a Skyline Search and Destroy here, it seems. This is news to me because I was informed that it was Rewind Search and Destroy, but hell, what do I care, huh? COD's COD. We can get that switch. I'm just going to make sure that they didn't make a mistake. I can get that switched on the back end if that is the case. You know, great for me because I actually don't even have the B-roll ready for Rewind yet. I had it, and I was like, I won't be needing this again. How silly and naive I was. The hosts have ended the game. I think they've realized the mistake. But hey, onto Rewind we go, which means, yes, I actually don't, you did hear me right, I don't have the graphics for Rewind. You know, sometimes when you're preparing a LAN, you forget to do some things, and one of those things is actually getting the new maps updated. My god, if the new maps from Ranked are kept in, and I have to do graphics for them as well, and film the B-roll for them, I will cry, and it won't be pretty. It won't be like one of those kind of, what would you say, mellow kind of stoic cries. No, it'll be girly tears. And I won't be ashamed. Don't shame me for being emotional. COD Ireland can bring the emotion out of people, folks. It's Irish Call of Duty. If there's anything to bring the tear to the eye, there's 3 things in life that bring tears to the eyes like no other. Breakups, Marley and Me, and COD Ireland Division 1 Losers Finals. I believe we're switched to the correct map. I believe these teams are ready to go. So looking forward to this one getting underway. Again, do Belfast have an answer? That's the big question. Because we've seen what Faceless can do. We know more about this Faceless side. With no disrespect to Belfast Storm, we know more about what the Faceless side brings to the table. And the big question is, how can Belfast Storm actually answer back on that front? And that is the $1 million question. That's the one we have to look at. If there's any map you could answer back on, it's a map out of left field like a Rewind Search and Destroy. Neither of these teams will be as well versed at this map. Now, will that favor their better or worse? That's up in the air. You could have a situation where, because this map is not as practiced, no strat just means that Faceless just be able to go gung-ho and have it work, but you could also have vice versa and it work for Belfast. Map number 2 getting underway. Let's see what the play is. As it is going to be Faceless Fruits with the bomb. They're getting in there quick. Bez Quintorius with a double jumpy, trying to rotate out with his life, making sure to get out of there. Cyndaquil picks up 1, Cyndaquil with 2, and the 2 most dangerous players for the Faceless Fruits are still left up. But now a 1v2. Hawk Knock. Quintorius versus Cyndaquil. The peaks coming through. Cyndaquil 1. It's Cyndaquil versus Quinn. He slides out. He gets the shots away. But can't pick up the kill. I tell you what, that was closer than it should have been. But Belfast Storm locked that round up. And onwards we go to the next round. Cyndaquil standing still in a very stoic fashion. Ultimately deciding to end the game. I imagine due to some sort of technical error. What that error is, I've absolutely no idea. But we're going to figure it out. And we're going to get back into this one together. Don't go anywhere. As map number 2 will be resuming in just a couple of moments. Back into it we go. But things changed around just a little bit to account for needing to be on different sides. Rin going with the quick push, nearly stunning himself. An aggressive round here. For those of you who may be just tuning in, Faceless Fruits 1-0 up in the series. Well, Belfast Storm, after the restart, 1-0 up in the map. Quinn just trying to bait out the pushes, bait out the angles. They may have isolated a player here. Not picking up the kill, though. So tentative, these gunfights. Belfast Storm do not want to drop that first life. Understandably so. Push coming through. A trade for trade. 3 versus 3. Bez in huge trouble as Powerhouse covers the angle. And just like that, it's all up to Melvin. A long round. But one that is not going to go the way of Belfast Storm. Running out of time. And getting dropped. 1 round apiece. Moving on forward to round number 3. Defense so far reigning supreme. This map, I think, is a bit more defensively favored. Bez is in a bit of trouble here. He's somehow gotten out not very weak. Now Shirley is going to get dropped as it's a 3 versus 4. Bez going huge. Hello. But the timing's not favoring him. Powerhouse gets the spot. And now the push coming through. Getting each other's backs there so well. Leaving Hawknock on his own. Bomb is going to go straight down. And the timings, they weren't going to favor Hawknock, but he somehow still manages to win that gunfight. Faceless Fruits. No, they can just run down the clock. The turn, Rin, spots him, drops him. 2 rounds on the fly for Faceless Fruits. As Rin just turning at the right time and locking in. Round number 4. 2-1 to Faceless Fruits. They've come back firing since the restart. Belfast Storm getting aggressive. Alright, they're going to go for the bomb down quick. The push coming through though from Rin, and he gets dropped. Jumpy gets dropped as well. And Bez has done a great job of getting in and out with his life in these rounds. Staying alive a lot longer than he has any right to, really. As Bez going on the chase, going to catch the angle. Another kill. And now the bomb's going to go straight down. As Cyndaquil's on the rotation, going to try and catch it. He'll spot one. He knows where the other is. He spots them, but he's weak himself. He challenges the gunfight, but he doesn't win. Now 2 apiece. Massive round for Belfast Storm. And that was all down to the brilliance of Bez. 3 kills, I believe, that round. Or maybe I horrifically miscounted. Who knows? But Bez... we've seen it in a couple of rounds. He does such a good job of playing his life. Was a little unfortunate with the timings not to stay alive in the last round. But this round he peaks. He challenges the dangerous areas. But he gets out of them in time. Which is very, very easier said than done. As we'll stay on board with Bez. A key player. A star player for Belfast Storm. But Melvin picking up the first blood. The RCXD coming in. Bez caught a little bit lacking. And Jumpy jumps up and gets his first kill of the map. 3 versus 2 now, though. Jumpy and Powerhouse. Belfast Storm look to be kicking up a gear again. Watching the angles, watching the push. He's a little weak. He's in a little bit of trouble. Quinn. And the nade does the job. A 2 versus 2. And Jumpy with another, and just like that, it's been Melvin isolated. Chat in the wrong place with an AR to run into 2. That was never going to work, and the Faceless Fruits have rescued that round. Probably the most even round we have seen so far. Could have gone either way, but tipping to the side of the Fruits. Cracking search and destroy to watch so far. 3-2 now. They once again take the lead. The push coming through. There's at 1. Challenging the angles wide. Powerhouse gets 1. 3 versus 3. Charles on the floor. Melvin's got it. 2v1. It's all up to Rin. Does Melvin have the kill? He does. And Belfast Storm even it up once again. 3 apiece after the restart. Round number 7. A huge moment Melvin had a good last round. Bez had a good couple of rounds. And now they're all starting to combine as Bez picks up 2, Quinn with 1, and Faceless Fruits floundering in this round. Meaning that Syndiquils have to rotate deep and will need to play for the ace. The only ace he's got is his of spades in his playlist. Does he be able to pick up 1? He needs to rotate out with his life. He will be getting chased. All 3 players on his ass. They know where he is. And they drop him. Belfast Storm make it 4-3. They take the lead once again. And a massive map for them in this series. It feels like one of those maps where they have to win this if they want to come away with the series. There's no reverse sweep on the table here against a side like Faceless Fruits. If they want a chance, they need to make that chance happen. And they need to make it here. Remember, folks, if you're enjoying as well, please do consider hitting that follow button. Nearly at 850 followers, on the way to 1,000 followers. Thank you all very, very much for your support here. It's Quinn. Gonna get rotated out. Bez with a kill. Faceless Flute. I agree, actually. Faceless Flutes would be a pretty cool name. Maybe when they make up the B team, it'll be the Flutes and Fruits. I stand by it. Patent the idea right now. As in a 2v3, Belfast Storm. You need to hold off the push of the Fruits. Powerhouse jumping Rin, getting ready to hit from the side. They've been spotted on the cross. Hawknock's going to rotate out. Did a good job here playing time, but the problem is Faceless Flutes are going to reclaim this site. And Quinn's been spotted. Hawknock challenge from the side drop. They know where Quinn is. They push him out. They get it done. And it was played a little too passively from the site. As the Fruits lock in on the site. Chal out. And get the defuse. 4-4. Moving swiftly on, round number 9. This map hanging in the balance here. The grand finals at stake. Bez with another 2. He can't be stopped. As Hawknock picks up 1. It's all up to Powerhouse for the Fruits. And Tiopsy, thank you very much for coming in as well with the first time chat. Who's the best Irish player? I don't know, but we could find him out here this evening. It's the grand final. We'll see one of these teams face off against OTG. As Powerhouse picks up 1. Will he get the second? Ice in the veins! Or is there? Oh my god! Shooting windmills! He needs a number to dial. Call it 11850. Was it the centering? Is it stick drift? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's Powerhouse in pain. As a gunfight that should have been all his, a 1v2 that should have been in the bag, now sees Belfast Storm just 1 round away from evening up this series at 1 apiece. Not the proud moment for Powerhouse. Will he be able to regain in a crucial stage for his side to take it to round 11? Powerhouse not checking his sides. The timings won't work out. And Belfast Storm, a huge 2 from Quinn, but Cyndaquil with 1, Jumpy with another, and hang on just a minute. In what was a 4v2 is now a 2v2 with the round back even Stevens. If Belfast Storm had gotten that bomb down a 4v2, it would have been good night Irene for this map for Faceless. But the side of Faceless have bought themselves a lifeline. Melvin challenged from distance. Knowing now they need to get the bomb down. Just taking their time. Waiting for the right moment. As Belfast Storm move together. Shots coming through. No hits. Faceless Fruits rotating out for the rewrap. They bash the doors. They stun. They don't know bomb is already down. But Melvin's been isolated. 1v1 here. Melvin, he doesn't get it. Oh my word. Melvin with the gunfight to take the map. Gets him one shot. And Jumpy with that distance from a sub as well. He shouldn't be winning that. And now we go to a round 11. For those of you just joining in, even though it's round 10 here, Belfast Storm went one round up before we had to hit a restart. So this is round 11. Who takes it? Let us know in the chat. Shots from deep early on. Melvin with the nade. Rin with the bomb. An offense for Faceless Fruits. The offenses have proven to be harder for both of these sides. But they've both won them. The push coming through from Rin. He's shooting through the wall to pick up one. He doesn't get the second though. Bez with the trade. Who else? But he gets dropped by Jumpy. Belfast Storm's best player is gone. And just like that, it's all up to Hawknock. 3v1. He waits. He's trying to line them up. The execution. Perhaps knowing he might be out of time here. He doesn't see anyone. He doesn't spot the player. Hawknock's gonna get dropped, and such an unfortunate end for Belfast Storm on that map. Means that the Faceless Fruits are going to go 2-0 up in this series after taking map number 2 with a round 11. Arguably, folks, very arguably, an undeserved victory for the side of Faceless Fruits. It, again, has not been clean from them. From the side of Belfast, at least, they'd feel it's unjust. They will feel hard done by, and it'll be understandably so. But you have to praise them for being able to get the job done. So much credit to them for the way that they played, getting over the line. It looked like it was going to be difficult. It looked like it was all but done. But they hung in there, and they managed to pull the rug out from Belfast Storm at a crucial point to now take them just one win away from facing off against only the greatest in the grand finals of the COD Ireland League, which will be happening straight after this game. So do make sure to stay tuned for that, folks, and make sure not to go anywhere, as we'll be getting map number 3 coming your way in just a second.
here for OTG as they are cleaning up around P1.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting underway with map number 3 in just a few moments as players just get through a couple of technical issues that they're getting sorted as quickly as they can, and it's an annoying issue that happens to everyone. Shaders, folks, it's shaders. What do you expect? But we're getting the shaders sorted. We're going to be getting into this game as soon as possible. I'm very curious as to what you think so far, guys. How are we enjoying this series? It's been a very unique one to watch, to say the least. I mean, Faceless Fruits looking pretty even to Belfast Storm for the most part, except for arguably just one full set of rotations over on that map number 1. When they got into the second set of rotations on Protocol Hardpoint, they really stepped it up to another level. I mean, it truly was just fantastic to watch. The way that they rotated around the map, picked up kills, 2 pieces galore, complete map control, central point dominance, and then just ultimately getting rotated through, picking up the kills, throwing shoulders left, right, and center to keep the players of Belfast Storm constantly second guessing who to aim at first, where to push, who's doing what. The teamwork was just simply more on point for Faceless Fruits, which allowed them to soar through with the lead because, you know, for the most part, the map number 1 was pretty even up until that point. And map number 2, we had seen very even as well. So, this series, even though you might look at it as a Faceless 2-0, not all said and done. Belfast Storm took it to around 11 and then for the most part played that hardpoint pretty well till certain lapses. So they really do have it in their locker to be able to take their A game towards this side here this evening. A reverse sweep needed as we go into map number 3. Best of luck to both of these sides. Belfast Storm, a lot riding on this one. A chance for the grand final. The push coming on the offense early for Belfast Storm. A good push. Jumpy, though, picking up 1. Bez, though, has been absolutely popping off for a side, but can't get the second. Rin's there with the clear, and Belfast Storm have been pushed off this A point. Powerhouse taking shots. Hawk Knock with the kill. 25 to 27. Faceless Fruits are not dropping that many lives. They're keeping the save point relatively clear. Belfast Storm haven't dropped many either, but they are struggling to find a way in here as we're already just down to 45 seconds for them to get on this point. Need to find an opening. Need to get a wave of kills. Again, never getting more than 1 or 2 at a time. Faceless Fruits are doing such a good job of just not overcommitting on the angles. Belfast Storm have to make a play. They have to send a flanker around to cause a pinch, to create a collapse. And you do have a good push there, meaning they'll be able to get on this side. At least a double stack. Will they go for the triple? It does look like they will. It is going to be up to... Actually, Quinn dies on the flank, which means the collapse could be in. You're going to have to push from up top. 2.5 ticks deep. Do they jump for the point? The nades are in. The jump comes in from 1. Jumpy ended up nading his own teammate. But taking down Quinn, that A point's going to be gone. 18 versus 19. Belfast Storm, great job on the push and on the hold. And now Jumpy with another 2. 16 to 18 now. The lives aren't great, but Belfast Storm are answering back to keep it even. But Jumpy causing a lot of damage there. Eventually going to get dropped. But it has to be said, Belfast Storm are just kind of, they're ruining having to carry Quinn here at the moment. He just can't find the kills. Powerhouse with 2, Jumpy with 1. Going to be a clean wipe for them. As Quintorius picks up 1, but he gets flooded. And now the chase, perhaps, for Faceless Fruits to decimate the lives. But don't want to get overzealous either. They are not too far ahead in lives. One bad push puts them right in the danger zone themselves. They do have to play this one careful. Melvin with a good kill. Decides to play his life. Does Bez go for the flank? Or does he play it to catch the roamer? He's going to catch the roamer and take him down. 11 versus 10. 29 seconds left. Clock stop. Quinn gets caught trying to throw that nade. And this is where Powerhouse can be so effective up in these areas. He's actually out of ammo. Has to resort to the pistol. And this guy will go hands and fists if he needs to. But Jumpy getting in there to take out Hawk Knock. Quintorius taking out Powerhouse. 4 versus 8. And the Fruits looking like they've done enough. Hawk Knock with 1. 10 seconds left to go. Bez gets dropped. It's all up to Quinn. He gets dropped and Faceless Fruits come away with round number 1. A good defensive hold. I believe only 3 ticks gone unless I miscounted. I think it was just the 3, the clean A, nothing at B. I can actually, considering the stream's on a minute delay, I can watch it back and see. And I think I am correct. So glad I have the stream open beside me. You'd be surprised how much information goes over my head. There we go. Fixing the little scoreboard glitch. Although, folks, it's not a glitch on your screen. Quintorius is only 2-10 at the moment. Sort of a shock scoreline for him. But mind you, even more of a shocker is Cyndaquil. 4-9. Take a look at Jumpy. 10-4, 12-6 for Powerhouse as well. Supreme KDs for them too. But some shockers across the board in other areas. There's Quinn. Pushing around the side. Rin picking up 1. Powerhouse. Rin with another. Faceless Fruits. Buying a nice couple of kills, giving themselves a chance to get moved up. Cyndaquil with 2. Trying to up that KD. Who's going to up it first? Quinn or Cinda? It's the Quill and Quinn. Both sitting rock bottom. Someone needs to throw in a stunner. I hope people got that WWE reference of a line there. I'm kind of proud of that one, actually. I don't often be proud of things I say, but I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Bez, trying to pick up the shots. It ain't quite happening. A point already done and dusted for Faceless Fruits. They have so much time to work on B as they get sitting on Rin with 2. The aggression is working here as an offensive win surely means that the victory is in sight for the Faceless side, and we will be seeing them again in the grand finals. That B tick not quite gone, but Rin continuing to pop off. Just a stone's throw away from a Hellstorm, but gets dropped by Bez. 1.5 ticks gone at B. Quinn going through with the push. Big kill, but Powerhouse instantly with the trade. Powerhouse, a master holding these angles. He rotates round. It's so unfortunate with the timing there. As Quinn finding a nice 2. Trying to play his life. Trying to stay up in a key position. They're running out of lives. And there's a bit too much time on that clock still. They get the point clear, gets rotated out. Well played by Quinn. The clock is your enemy now. You need to make it your best friend. Cyndaquil at 1. The push coming through again. They are very advanced towards the middle of the map, Faceless, as they will get jumped on. But credit Storm. They are wiping them here. Massive, massive wave of gunfights. 9 versus 9. 45 seconds left. All of a sudden the complexion's changed. But look at Powerhouse. He's getting up into this key position with an AR. He's going to cause havoc with a 3. Giving his side the room to move up. Spawning Storm out. Only 5 lives left to go. This is Powerhouse's show here. Popping off the play of the series. As those 4 kills have single-handedly unraveled the entirety of the Belfast Storm hold. As Faceless Fruits, they go 2-0 up and just 1 round away from taking the series 3-0. And I have to say, we can praise the whole team as we should, but you gotta give your compliments there to Powerhouse. That flank round the back, we had just spoken about how dangerous Powerhouse can be holding those lanes. How that's his strong suit. Playing wide. Locking down the angles. And as soon as he got that top arc control, as soon as he's made his way through there, the entirety of what was a really strong looking Belfast Storm hold just got unraveled. There is still a chance for the Storm side, but it needs to be perfect from here on in. No more room for errors, not in this round, not in this map, not in this series. And mistakes are indeed made. What did I just say, Storm? But mind you, a nice wave of kills, a 4 down, a stack on B, and I tell you what, this is how you want to start. But that truck, I was about to say, was looking pretty flammable. And 2 ticks at B. Hawknock holding on. The contest through. He gets dropped. But I tell you what, 2 ticks at B. There's worse ways to start off an offensive round here on a vault control. Shots coming through. No kills. Just a little weak. A bit of tags. Melvin and Hawknock with 1. Bez with another, who's picked up a key position top cat. And now all of a sudden you've that trip stack going to come on in. And 2 ticks gone a day. You have no choice but to win these rounds. But you are flying up these ticks. You have a lot of map control. As Bez, almost not knowing what to do from here. Rotates around. Oh, these timings. These timings. That's so unfortunate. But he'll be able to drop around the back. He'll get this trade. And 2 for 2. He's going to move on to the site. Potentially pick up another. The nade through. As he just is dancing around it. Trying to give a side an opening. As Melvin trying to pick up 1. And Storm have switched it on here at the right moment. Potentially a double stack going to be able to come through here. Massive wave, but Jumpy picking the kill. But Melvin with 2. Powerhouse, though. Kind of the last up to do something about this. It's going to be able to hold them off long enough. As he picks up another. And I tell you what, Powerhouse has been rescuing his side here in this series. Been the key player for them for sure. But Melvin picking up 2 means another wave is coming through quickly. And Storm are knocking at the gate of this round. They are at the door. Who's going to let them in? Jumpy gets dropped by Hawknock. 12 versus 7. Do they play for the ticks? The ticks could guarantee them a defense, I think. If they obviously have to win the next round. Quinn, though, with 1, it's contested. The trades, they didn't come in. 8 versus 6, 1 minute left. Lives are going to play a key factor. Could we see this pace slow down? This has gotten intense. Hawknock, he's made 1 shot. He's holding his life. Melvin with 1, 8 versus 5. Things get a little scary, but Jumpy making it 7. Melvin getting caught out. The slower this gets, the more the fruits will get set up and run this clock. Now 5 versus 5. Belfast Storm have made a crucial error, splitting up around the map and not making it count for any of anything. Now a game of search and destroy in our hands to see whether or not Belfast Storm can make their way to a grand final. Powerhouse gets dropped. They link back up together. Quinn's in trouble. He rotates out. Here comes the push. Powerhouse has been dropped. But the angle's not being watched. And just like that, Faceless Fruits take the map 3-0. Take the series 3-0. And just like that, our grand finalists are set. Massive series to watch. So much fun. And you have to give a lot of congratulations to Faceless Fruit, who will find themselves in the grand finals of Division 1 of the COD Ireland League. And commiserations to Belfast Storm, who hit the regain on Season 2. Got so close yet so far. But finishing out 3rd place. And proving themselves to have one of the top Irish rosters for sure. Massive commiserations to them. Once again, congratulations to the Faceless Fruits. As we're going to come away and we're going to see if we can get everything set up for the grand final. Ladies and gentlemen, what a fun one that was to watch. Immaculate from start to finish. Could have gone any way, either way. Do not let that 3-0 fool you. A lot of those maps could have been anyone's result. They really could have. Belfast Storm could have taken that map 1. Even though it looked like it went a bit all over the place at one point. The tides could have turned and it could have turned their way instead. That round 11, it can go either way. And then of course that control. Yes, first couple of rounds were shaky, but the way Belfast Storm grew into that control, you can't help but think that if they somehow managed to pull that round, that they would have had it in themselves to potentially take that map and perhaps engineer the reverse sweep. All if buts and maybes. For the moment, it's Faceless versus OTG, who have made their way to the grand final. As we're going to get ourselves set up for that game, we are going to be back as soon as we can. Don't go anywhere. The grand finals of Season 2, Division 1 of the COD Ireland League, the game that decides who Ireland's best team is gets underway in just a few.